Good morning. This is Mark, your Smarties Lyft driver. And as a Lyft driver, we generally, I would imagine your other drivers will agree with me, we spend a lot of time in gas stations. I know I'm there once a day, sometimes more. In California, gas prices have gone up. Yesterday was the 15th straight day where gas prices have gone up, and I think they've gone up about a quarter. That probably goes to Exxon and, those guys. But one of the things that I've had problems with is the gas tax that was passed last April, and a gas tax that was voted on by California some years ago to raise $50 billion. And the fact that of that $50 billion that was raised and approved by taxpayers, with a requirement that 100% of the funds collected go to the roads, repair of the roads or building of roads, largely went to other programs. So just a challenge for all of us as Americans, as voters, as people who should have a conscience and look out at the people that we've put in place to represent us and to protect us and to help guide the country, whether it's the state, county, elected officials. Because of Assembly Bill 47 and 57, which is releasing felons in the state of California because of overcrowding in jails. The gas tax, which is, I believe it was Assembly Bill 1, where they're going to now collect $52 billion over the next 10 years. There's some stories that are out there about how they're already, I believe they're diverting approximately 30% of the $52 billion to programs that may or may not, bicycle lanes. I'm trying to think of what else. I was looking at it a minute ago. 30% of $52 billion is, what is that? 17 billion bucks not going to the roads. That's 4 cents of the 12 cents we promised. It's not going to go where we asked it to go. Didn't we just go through this with the tax that we voted for before they rammed this one down our throats? And yet, are we doing anything about it? I write an email to Jerry Brown probably once a week. It's not long, but about the failures of Assembly Bill 47, 57, about the fact that they're not spending the money on the gas tax. Here's an example. You can go to the Assembly Bill and look online and find out what they're doing and read documentation on the bills they passed. If you go back to April and you look at what the legislation was up to a week after they passed the gas tax, you'll notice that they voted 4 days later, or 5, and approved $990 million in expenditures to be raised from the gas tax proceeds. And the last line item there was a $10 million line item for advertising summer lifeguard positions for Los Angeles County. Question: how do you spend $10 million on advertising for a part-time summer position? And where was the campaign? I never saw a billboard. I never saw anything online. $10 million. Where'd that go? Someplace just to start and think about what they're doing with our money and to us. I don't know about you, but I sure feel like I spend an awful lot of time trying to provide for my family, and I'd be willing to bet all of you guys are doing the same thing, except you're working harder than me. So a couple people that I try and write to as often as possible. Jerry Brown, easy to find. A name you might not recognize. The name is Xavier Becerra. Xavier, Xavier, Becerra, Becerra. He's the state's attorney. And I believe it's his job to make certain that the laws of the state of California are adhered to. So if that's the case, and the state's legislators are spending the gas tax money possibly in a way that is not in line with state law, Where are you, sir? What are you doing? Send them a question. Ask them a question. Send them a note. See if they respond. Probably not. And then before Xavier Becerra was Kamala Harris. She's now a state senator, having replaced Barbara Boxer. And it was on her watch that the voter approved $50 billion from about a decade ago was not spent on roads. How do we account for those funds? Let's ask questions. It might be kind of fun. But asking questions will get them thinking. And we need to ask more questions as we start to try and figure out how we take our country back from those that stole it from us. And I'm sorry, Jerry Brown, Xavier Becerra, and Ms. Harris, I believe you guys are part of that group of people. So, at any rate, cranky old Mark, hey, let's send an email. Make your day a brighter day, and we'll talk some more. Make it a good Sunday.